Okay, day 8. I had aspirations to do this every day, but I feel like it's been a little bit harder to do it every day. So 4 times a week is the new rhythm, I suppose, until I want to ramp it up. But right now that seems to work pretty well. I am also trying a slightly new angle today. I don't know how it's going to play. Also, my hair was just not cooperating with me when I tried to curl it. I feel like I've been using, like a hair mask and hair oil a lot, because like my skin gets so dry, and there's no more. So like on a small dose of Accutane, so I just am really drying out. And then when it's all fresh, and I tried to curl it and it just flicked out of the curling iron. I don't know if anyone has tips for how to do that. Maybe I should just hairspray my hair tonight, and then it'll be a bit crisper, and then I can curl it in the morning. That seems like a fair fair way to do it. So today I wanted to talk about just my current exercise regime. I think I just made a word up. Routine/regime. Because I feel like I am someone who has tried a lot of different types of workouts, but I also think it's good to have variety in your routine. So I'm gonna rate a number of the different things I've tried and talk about why I really like what I'm doing now. Also, given I am 8 months out from my wedding, so I'm very much kind of been in the bridal era, prepping for at least 18 months already, I feel like, because I had a big engagement party at the end of last year. I started being in Jan, this is the beginning of the bridal era. So yeah, I mean, we're only in Feb, so call that almost a year so far. And yeah, I've kind of changed up my routine and found a few new things that I think are working and are good. So that is what I'll be, talking about today. So to kick things off as well, I just wanted to talk about this new trend on TikTok that is being Chinese, and how I've incorporated that into my morning routine and actually really enjoy it. So 2 things that have really helped. One is the lymphatic drainage. So I know that those lymphatic drainage vibration plates are going quite viral on TikTok, and a lot of people are doing them. And I reckon I have mixed. A lot of people swear by them, and I'm sure maybe they do work to some extent, but I'm also do I need to buy that? And so I was thinking about that a lot. Hey, no biting the pillow. No, give me. I thought he was so well behaved today, and he's biting the cushion. No. Okay. Trying to pause it more when my dog interrupts, because I know that's probably quite painful, and I haven't quite worked out how to edit this easily without making the audio and the video go out of sync. So I know there's a whole bunch of tools out there, but right now it's just very lo-fi, unfiltered. So welcome to puppy life. So lymphatic drain plates or vibration plates, I honestly just I was almost influenced to buy them, but I was there must be a better way. And then that's at this time, I think going Chinese was being very viral on TikTok, and I came across my For You page and saw a lot of things about just movements and exercises in the morning that help you kind of get the blood flowing. And I think because last year I was doing acupuncture for a bit, because I wanted a bit more of a glow up before the engagement party. Now I've decided Botox is probably the way to go. I've actually just hit my 6 weeks today, which is feeling a little bit more relaxed. For a few weeks, I think it was when it was 2 weeks, it was so max. I found it really weird looking at my face and smiling, but now I feel a little bit more like myself again. But you can get acupuncture in your face, which actually is meant to help plump it up, make it more youthful, like get the circulation going. So I was kind of doing that, and I reckon I would like to get back into acupuncture, but right now I'm living in Tahoe, so remote, so it's a little bit harder to do. So the lymphatic drainage is like an exercise I do each morning, and there's like a series of movements. If you just Google it, like, or search on TikTok, like morning lymphatic drainage, like Chinese, I'm sure you'll get a few different variations of it, which essentially is just like raising your arms above your head, like moving your arms around. Like there's one like this, and like jumping. And I think that's been enough, and more just for like energy. I think I've noticed about like more than anything, like obviously like I'm kind of someone who like it takes me a little while to wake up, or like once I have a coffee I feel really awake, but this like seems to really jolt my alertness in the morning, and like accelerate that. So that's been quite good for energy. And then also on like digestion, so I always get like really bloated, especially around my periods, and like struggle more with like getting blocked up and like not going to the bathroom for a few days. And so now I have every morning, apparently like the worst thing you can do if you're like that is to like have cold water or I think room temp might be okay, but the best thing you can do is have like hot water or like warm water with lemon in it in the morning. So now rather than reaching just for like a glass of water next to my bed, I'll put the kettle on, have some lemon water, warm lemon water, and then it honestly seems to just keep everything very regular, the bloating down, and it's just made me feel a lot more lighter and like kind of fresh, I guess, because I feel like if you're someone who has that, it's really frustrating because like, you know, that's like not like your normal way, or like your genes are a bit hard to do up, and it's like I know that I'm eating well and I'm exercising well, but like something's not going right in my digestion, and so I feel like bigger than I am or more lethargic. And yeah, so I found those two things have been really good, just like a general base health, and I'm going to continue that. I mean, at least till the end of the year. It's kind of like part of my resolution for this year and part of my bridal era glow up. But then I guess more onto like the exercise side. I have recently gotten back into weightlifting, and I feel like that has been really necessary, and like I've been enjoying the different one second, sorry about that, he loves biting everything but his toys. I recently, I mean, it's more because I'm in Tahoe and there's not like good, well, like easy accessible good reformer Pilates nearby, and I've been definitely in my reformer Pilates era for like just over the past year, and yeah, I just found like with Pilates, I mean, for the last year I was doing like reformer Pilates maybe like 4 times a week, and I definitely felt like my abs were like really, really strong, and I was like a good lean physique. But I found that there was like a limit that I had hit of like, I couldn't go heavier in the arms, and I've always wanted to have better and more defined arms. And I think that's when I realized, well, I need to be lifting like heavier weights. That's what kind of everyone says. And before reformer, I felt like I was, for like 3 years, I was doing more just like mat Pilates at home, which I really enjoy and I loved. I think I kind of got into that during COVID when I was just like, I need to be able to like roll out a mat at any time, and you know, like it was really handy. They kind of stretched me enough. But again, a similar thing, like there's a limit. I reckon you get to that in like what you can, how like strong you can get. So yeah, that's why I'm now in my weightlifting era, and I got ChatGPT to make a help me make a routine, and I find it a little bit tricky going into the gym, and I'm like still working out the best way to do this. But there's a few machines, or like say an exercise that I don't really know how to do, and I'm like, show me like step-by-step instructions, or like show me a visual so I know how to get the posture right and everything. But still, I think like in those moments, I just wish I was the only person in the gym. Like I wish I wasn't like looking like an idiot in front of all these people who are like just doing their routine, know what every machine is, whereas I'm like looking at a machine being like, is that the calf raise machine I need? Or I'm like, is this machine that ChatGPT has told me to use even in this gym? It's kind of like a small gym, so it's not, I think, like every equipment that you need. So I'm still kind of working out the right like way to do it, and honestly I should probably just like get it to make a routine that doesn't involve specific machines. It only requires like weights and dumbbells because then, and like bars, because then that will make my life a bit easier, because there's nothing worse than like injuring yourself if you're using a machine incorrectly. And this is where like I previously wanted to get a personal trainer, and I'm like, maybe that's like a 6 months out from the wedding, once I've got a little bit of a base strength, that'll work. But I'm also going like skiing like 3 or 4 times a week, and that's like really good for the legs. So I find like, yeah, I can't do too much legs at the gym, because I noticed that when I was doing that, or like starting to lift more weights, my like skiing technique was a little bit worse, because I was just like didn't want to bend as much, and like you obviously have to be like really bent forward to to ski well, and I was like, why do I not feel like I'm bending forward that much? And that's because when I did it, I was like, oh, my legs are tired. So definitely more of an arm focused workout at the moment, and I reckon if you're like wanting to get into it and dabble in it, then ChatGPT is your go-to of like coming up with a bit of a guide of like a 12-week plan, and like what weights to start with and things like that. So I've been really enjoying that slightly different pace. I'll go in and I'll do like 15 minutes on the treadmill, either like an incline walk or a little bit of a jog. I'm not a huge runner anymore. I went through a huge running phase when I like 7 years ago, and I went a little too hard, and I think like I just don't have the same enjoyment for it. I think I was very much doing it as like a weight loss thing, and now that I don't really like care about like running to burn calories, I think I just don't have the motivation. So I've been trying the incline walk, which is good because I actually just enjoy that, and I can listen to a podcast, because I'm just not one of those people who like can listen to a podcast while running. I don't know, I just get a bit like, all I think about when I'm running is when I'm going to stop running, which is probably my problem, but maybe non-runners can relate to that. And yeah, I wish that my gym had the like step thing. Like I feel like I've seen everyone doing that on TikTok rather than the incline walk, but apparently the incline walk is the closest I can get at the moment, and that's fine. And so what I'm doing now is doing that like arms day, legs day, depending on how much I'm skiing that week, and then like 2 or 3, yeah, maybe call it like 3 to 4 gym sessions, and then I'll ski, yeah, I suppose like 3 to 4 times a week. And then I will, on an off day, probably just do Pilates at home, and that's where I use the mat Pilates, which has been quite good, so I still subscribe to that. And honestly, it's all just so much cheaper than formal Pilates. Like I was spending $250 or more, like $280 a month on like Body Rock Pilates, and Body Rock was good, but that's just a lot, and it's very much a lot of the same. And I think this is where I like talked about in my last episode, like routines and structure, and I just find it really hard to like know which days of the week I'm going to feel like doing that kind of intense workout at like 6:30 a.m. or 7 a.m. or whatever it is. And so I prefer like the non-class format where I can just be like, oh, right now is a good time to go to the gym, and I'll go. Or I'm like, maybe today I just actually feel like, yeah, like going for a walk around the block and rolling out the mat at home. Like it's a bit too hard to get to the gym, or I'm not really in that mood. But also I guess on the flip side of that, you can just go when you're not in the mood, because then once you're there you can just like be like, I'm just gonna go slow, and then when you're there you're kind of like, oh, obviously like I feel like working out. Whereas I think it's a lot harder to drag yourself to a group Pilates session when you're not in the mood, because you know you're gonna have to work out hard regardless. So that's a little bit how I feel about the current regime, and it's working quite well. Like I feel like this is like definitely more defined than it was previously. It's a bit like Popeye. Maybe it's just the angle or something. But yeah, that is something that I want to get like for the wedding, just to be nice and, you know, defined. But that's kind of, I guess, yeah, current state. My dream is to have a gym in my home one day, but we will get there. Yes, so I wanted to do more like ratings though of like previous workouts I've done. So I've mentioned Body Rock. I actually really like Body Rock because it does challenge you, but it's not so crippling like solid core I tried to do, and I was like pretty strong, but I just couldn't do it. I don't know. And maybe this is like, everyone says like Lagar is kind of like that, or Lagree or whatever it's called. But I would like be like wrecked that afternoon, you know, like my energy, like I think at the time I was also quite stressed and I wasn't like sleeping well. And I think like you should match or like look for workouts that are gonna like energize you. And like, so like depending on what your cortisol like current situation is, like picking the right exercise regime that's like not gonna make you more tired, it's going to like your cortisol spike even more. It's gonna kind of like enable you to like reset and, you know, rejuvenate and work hard, but, you know, like not be like needing a nap in the afternoon kind of thing, which is where I was like at when I was doing solid core and when I was doing Body Rock. It got to a point where it was like 4 or 5 times a week that I was like, by 2-3 o'clock I was having the biggest afternoon slumps. And when I stopped doing it first thing in the morning, or I like slowed down, did someone in the afternoon, like some more like a late, mid to late morning or lunchtime, I was a lot better energy. And I think that was just because I was getting enough sleep and then also doing the workout, rather than like I wasn't getting enough sleep and then I was losing sleep to go do the first thing workout class, which I think if you're someone who's like, I don't know, not in that like sleeping all right or not running on that kind of stress, or that stress doesn't affect your body as much as maybe it does mine, like then that can work. But I would go back to Body Rock. I do think there's sometimes just with Reformer, like there's a limit, and I think like it's actually good to have it in the mix rather than it be your sole way of working out. And then so running, I mentioned, I don't know if that's just a bit much time on that. Like it's really great if you can do it. It's obviously a nice free exercise. Sometimes I think it's easier to get my running fitness back up, like, you know, when you lose it, which is the phase I'm in at the moment, on a treadmill, because you can like really regulate your pace, and then you can walk, run, and like you can build it up. I find it a bit easier to do that than out in the wild. But obviously it's nicer to run like if you can, like in nature or down the street or whatever. So I'm currently not in a running phase, but I do think it's good to like obviously have some more cardio, which I suppose I try to do now before beginning of a weight session, which has been good. What else? I am a huge fan of mat Pilates, just because you can do a lot with your body weight, and I think it's been really good at building my core strength. And especially on the days when you're like, I can't be bothered to do anything, I can somehow be bothered to do that. And so it's like better than nothing. And that's why I think I'm a big believer of having something like that in your routine, which is like, I'm also now doing the bridle arms, which I guess is kind of similar, but it's like a 5 to 7 minute arms, like lightweight routine that, you know, when you're just on the mood and you're like low energy, like I'll just do this for 5 minutes, and it kind of gets your energy back up, and it, like you still did a bit of movement, and that goes a long way. So I'm a big fan of like little things here and there, which I used to be like very like, you have to go hard or fast, like it's got to be a big run, or I used to do like Barry's, or like Reformer Pilates, and I'd be like, every workout has to exhaust me, and I don't think I actually really like that. I think like sometimes that's good, but not 5 days a week. I don't think my body and like current lifestyle suits that at all, but some people it does. So yeah, Barry's, that's a bit of a throwback. I feel like again, that was when I was in my like super running Fitspo stage. I don't know if it like really, like what it really does. Like, so the weights that you do in some of those things are never gonna get you like to that sort of like muscle definition that you really want. I think it's a little bit like, you know, like HIIT or a reformer where it's like maybe it feels harder and it's painful, but like at the end of the day, is it really getting you the results that you want? And if you do like running, maybe go for a run and then do weights separately rather than joining them together. But I feel like it's not as big as it used to be. So maybe a lot of people have gone off it. But I remember when I was in its heyday and it was like the workout to do. And it's fun. Like I do think sprinting like is a really good way to get your fitness up, and like it's a good way to get your running fitness up, especially as someone like myself who gets really bored long distance running and like can't, like I'm much better if I like sprint and walk on a treadmill rather than like trying to sustain a half an hour jog. Because I find that just a little bit more, maybe that just suits my personality more or something. So I enjoy that. But yeah, who knows if people still go to Barry's. It's always, there used to be one near my house in San Francisco, but I guess people still went. But I feel like Pilates and Body Rock and Solid Core are like the new thing. But even now, I'm going off it a bit. And then lastly, two more I want to talk about: boxing. I actually love boxing so much, and I think it's such a good workout. I feel like though, I don't know what it is, especially now I'm back on Accutane, like your skin gets really like weak or something. And I know that like when I've tried to do it on the boxing bags, I've always ended up splitting my skin, even though I wrap them and have gloves and everything. I don't know if I punched too hard or incorrectly, probably more likely. I really enjoy I find it quite meditative that you have to focus on the moves. So that like shuts off the part of my brain that's always talking, and always active. And so I quite enjoyed that. But I used to love more in uni. I used to do it with a partner, and then we'd like go to a boxing class at just the local gym, and we were both like similar strength, and like you do a little bit of cardio plus that. Like that was like, if I could find a way to bring that more into my routine, I would be like, I think that also is so good for your arms and abs, and like a really enjoyable exercise, like anything that makes you stop thinking for a bit. And maybe this is why people love running so much, and I wish I could relate, but like whatever that is for you, I think is so good, because at the end of the day, like that's what's gonna like re-energize you and make you so excited to do that particular workout. And then that brings me on to the last one, which is yoga, which again, I went through a little phase at the beginning of COVID in 2020 where I did yoga with Adrian. I don't think I have the like flexibility to do a good workout in it, or if I enjoy that level, like that slowness of pace. And maybe this is also why I don't like solid core, which is like the really slow holding long movements. Like, I don't know if it's like I'm not built for that, or like I just don't enjoy it, and maybe I don't enjoy it, which is why I don't push myself to the next level, which some people do, which is what you need to get to like enjoy it. Yeah, that's just something that like I'm obsessed with people who do yoga, and I think it's a great exercise to have in your routine. But I'm much more about the mat Pilates, or yeah, like if I'm gonna do, because I know like yoga's not chill either. Like I understand that. It does not work for my constitution. Who knows? Yeah, I've always circled around a few different things, and I think it's really good to mix it up every 6 months or a year or 2 years. I think, you know, we hit some limits sometimes. Like it's good to be able to get into a routine where like you can do it without like feeling like it's the most exhausting thing in the world. But I think at the end of the day, having variety, and then every time you switch, you start like targeting, growing, getting to know a different group of muscles. And I think all in that, like you end up just like being able to integrate them all is probably the ideal you know, PT state where you're doing a bit of weights, you're doing some sort of like Pilates or yoga, and you're doing a bit of cardio, and you find a way to like have them all throughout your week, and yeah, peak fitness. Anyway, so that's my current regime and my ratings of all the exercises that I've done previously. I also think I'd like, last but not least, let's not forget about how nice walking is. Like, maybe this is what people who are runners feel about how running makes them feel. Like, that's how much I love walking. And like, incidental walking, I reckon, is so underrated. Like, if you can get somewhere by foot as well as by car, you should go by foot. You know, if you have enough time and you make the time, or you make the walk productive in another way, you write notes, you like listen to a podcast, I don't know, or you just actually think, all of that is productive. It's probably more productive than the time it takes for you to find a park and get into the car. But yeah, that's probably actually, like, if I was gonna rate them as to what I enjoy the most, like, walking would be number one. And then I think Pilates, and then weights. But I'm like, I might say that mat Pilates trumps reformer. Maybe reformer goes fourth. But skiing should be up there on my rating. Skiing is probably one with walking, was also not like realistic to do that every day of the year, you know, whereas I could walk every day of the year, even when I'm like in a snow town. Currently we're a little bit snowed in and the walking's a little bit trickier. That's why I'm gonna go to the gym and do a walk there. But that is up there. That is totally up there. Anyway, I hope this was helpful, and yeah, happy to answer any questions or share my like ChatGPT regime if that is useful. But yeah, I think listen to your body is the most important thing that you can do, because everyone will, you know, praise their workouts and their success of what they look like, but we all have different constitutions, and you should lean into what makes you feel the best. So yeah, that's it for me today.